Welcome to I May Be Wrong.
I don't know what this world is coming to.
But I don't think so. We're broadcasting from the greater Nashville area, the home of country music, beyond the borders of political correctness and identity politics. Facts and faith are our demarcations. Truth lights our path.
Here's the Barry White of Podcast Radio,
the Venerable Alfonso Ashworth.
Welcome to another exciting episode of I May Be Wrong, but I don't think so. Of course, I'm Al Ashworth, or some call me the Barry White Broadcast Podcast. Of course, we got a lot to talk about, got a lot going on. There's a lot of things happening. I only have 30 minutes, so I'm going to try to cover this as quickly as I possibly can. Some of you that know me know that I'm not up for nonsense. You just know it. You know that I don't go I don't go for the nonsense. I don't go for tit for tat. I don't go for he said, she said, but this or but that. I come with the facts. I come with what's real. I'm going to bring you what's real, and we're going to talk about what's real, but I'm not going to go down that road with you. If all you want to do is see racism in everything that you look at, you have blinders on. Your blinders are blocking your view. Look at the world for what it is. The violence that's going on in the communities, the lack of good quality schools, the lack of good quality high-paying jobs because these companies are moving out of these destructive, violent, riot-infested neighborhoods. The Democrats are playing mind games with you. They're playing Jedi tricks. They're saying one thing, doing another. You just saw it recently with Nancy Pelosi. She just had to have her blowout, as they call it. And I'm sure she had a little Botox to go with that. She walked into a person's establishment that has been ordered to be shut down since March. The owner was just livid because she was ordered to shut her doors, her salon, down. And here's Nancy Pelosi walking through the front door as if she's Queen Bee. It's insane. Bill Davenport, welcome to the show, sir. I see that he's in the chat. This country, the assassination of a nation. Of course, we all remember the assassination of John F. Kennedy, of Martin Luther King Jr., of Robert Kennedy. All this happened within a few years in the 60s. There were riots, there were destruction, there was chaos, all over racism. This is a different time, but folks, we are in another era. There is something going on in this country, and we had better wake up. When a 17-year-old kid has more guts to go out and defend the neighborhood and defend the businesses, and he had to take matters into his own hand because he had individuals that were trying to stop him for exercising his freedom. And he's made this 17-year-old kid now is the villain, the scapegoat in the media. You better wake up, and you better do it quickly. Now, if you got something you want to say, I see that Don Hughes is in the chat room. Alan C. Jones is in the chat room. He says, bring it out. Yes, I'm going to bring it, and I ain't coming but no way but from the truth. There's a lot happening. The assassination of a nation. Think about it. The Republican, Abraham Lincoln, who freed the slaves, Emancipation Proclamation, was assassinated by an angry Democrat, John Wilkes Booth. Martin Luther King. Some people will tell you that James L. Ray was a Republican. Actually, James L. Ray was a Democrat. Assassinated Martin Luther King. Sirhan, a Palestinian madman, a Democrat, a liberal, took out Robert Kennedy. And we all know about John Fitzgerald Kennedy, assassinated.
by a liberal Democrat. The Democrats have been doing this since the dawn of time. When they don't have their way, chaos is their method. Violence is their method. The Democratic Convention in 1968, the riots in Chicago, which a lot of people attribute that to the assassination of Martin Luther King. Yes, that has something to do with it because there were riots all over the country because of that. People were looting and burning and doing all sorts of stuff. Darryl Graham, he would have been martyred had he not defended himself. Exactly. Good morning, Angela Mazza. Good morning, she says. Don Hughes says, and the thing no one wants to talk about is that Cal was actually using a first aid kit he had bought and was helping injured rioters. Exactly. The kid had been there earlier. Matter of fact, he wasn't a stranger to this community. He was there trying to clean the graffiti off of a place that he had worked. He was there to help. There's photographs of him. They're cleaning the graffiti off of these buildings. Of course, some people would say, well, why did he stay there overnight? To protect the businesses. He was there to protect the businesses that were being looted and burned. You saw them. You saw the ones that the president were visited yesterday. Place looked like a tornado had been through there. Some of those people had businesses that were there for 40 years. I know. I've been in business myself since 1986. I know exactly what it takes to build and own and operate a business. Then you have individuals who will say, well, they have insurance. Insurance does not pay for everything, you morons. Don Hughes says people need to watch JFK to 9/11, a rich man's trick. Will shed light on the whole Kennedy Association. Very informative. There's a lot of documentaries, a lot of videos out there. Speaking of videos, I'm going to show you a couple here. Let's go to one. Since we're talking about assassinations, we're talking about the assassination of a nation. Of course, if you would like to chime in, you can do so at I may be wrong, but I don't think so.com. You can also be a contributor on the show. You can help me out. I have individuals who stop me almost daily. I'm in my community. They stop me. They'll say, hey, I like what you say. Keep on saying it. And I even have people who want to help out on the show. They'll say, what can I do to help? They know that they have a voice, someone that's out there telling the truth, just like in the Republican National Convention where they had those real Americans come out and tell you the truth of their experience in this country. This country is the greatest country on the planet, as one person said. There is nowhere else for you to go. If America falls, where you going? What you going to do? How you going to get there? You think Canada's going to take you in? You think Mexico is going to take you in? I say not. Of course, Jeff Trotter says, good morning, brother. Ruby Ruffin gives me a smiley face. Don says, insurance companies are looking for any loophole to get out of paying out claims to these businesses. Exactly. You know, do you go out and take rioters insurance? When is the last time a business owner had to go out and say, hey, I need to get rioters insurance? Do you know a lot of these insurance companies will not pay fully on some of this damage? It's insane. So let's watch a quick video. Yeah, if you really think, look at this. Now this is the shooting from a different angle. Excuse the language, by the way, because it's very, very saucy language in this video. It hasn't been edited. And this is the kid, Kyle, that was confronted and he had to defend himself, folks. He had no choice.
Damn.
Now you're gonna see Cal in just a minute. He's running toward this person. He's running away because they're throwing things at him. They're chasing him. He's having to shoot to defend himself because they're shooting back. They're shooting at him.
Run, Rita, run. Holy fuck.
Excuse the
They
language.
shooting.
Like
I felt some
said,
bitches go by.
The language in this is not appropriate. But this is very.
No way, he shot that
something
motherfucker?
I felt like that needed to be shown.
Oh my God, he shot the guy.
Yeah, he shot
Holy
him.
fuck.
They were chasing him.
He shot him.
Holy fuck.
Call 911.
Oh yeah. Now you want to call 911. Now you want to call. Now you want to call 911. Now they want to call 911. This has gotten out of hand, folks. Assassination of a nation. It's an assassination of your Bill of Rights. It's an assassination of the Constitution of the United States. And in spite all of the things that we've been through in this country, despite everything, they're coming to take your guns away. You don't think they are? You don't think they're coming to take them? Listen to Kamala Harris. Listen what she has to say.
Election in November. It's going to be about literally our health and whether we live or die.
Thank you, guys. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers.
She, her, and her?
She's a liar.
Mine
She's a
too.
hypocrite.
So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy. This was a little controversial in San Francisco. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. They make really bad decisions.
Do you believe that Americans should have the right to vote at age 16?
I'm really interested in having that conversation.
Convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on
Insane.
death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
She thinks we should do away with the Electoral College. Is that? Do you agree with that?
I think that I'm open to the discussion.
You're open
I am
to anything
prepared
that'll get
to
you
get
a
rid
vote.
of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal.
But would you support changing the dietary guidelines?
Yes.
The food pyramid. What people
Yes. Yes.
to reduce red meat specifically.
Yes, I would.
So would you ban offshore
They're
drilling?
all about
Yes.
control.
Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should.
Assault weapons that are
Listen,
already in
listen.
circulation. What do you do about those?
Listen.
We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program.
Victory, that you have a Republican like
I had somebody call me a liar on my page because I said that Kamala Harris was coming after our firearms and was going to mandate that you sell your firearms to the government. Mandate means to order by law. You have no choice to you have to put on a safety belt when you're driving an automobile. You have to wear a helmet in some places because you operate in a motorcycle or some type of vehicle that requires you to wear the helmet. That's mandated. That's mandatory. They're coming. This assassination of a nation. Ruby Ruffin says, right, Al. Don Hughes is going back on the young man Kyle. He says they claimed the object thrown at Kyle back was a Molotov cocktail that did not flame up. Exactly. They're burning, they're looting, they're destroying private property. They're shooting people who support Donald Trump. They shot a man, killed him dead, and celebrated it and bragged about it and hunted this person down. Assassination of a nation. This is all relative to not just what happened in 1968. It's relative to what happened in our government when the American people became complacent. They became lazy. They became lethargic. And they sat on the sideline where law after law was put forward to chip away at our very rights and our very freedoms, our very freedom to have freedom of speech. I have no idea what that was. They chip away at our very rights and our very freedoms so that we sit on the sideline now and we sit over here and wonder, well, what happened? I tell you what happened. You became so lazy, you didn't vote. And if you did vote, you voted for someone that had no interest in your rights. They only had interest in getting power. And you think that that's the next thing that's coming. I tell you what, I've got some hope. I've got some encouragement. There's a video out there, and there's a lot happening. Jan Marie says, I have always felt that there was a direct correlation. In fact, I believe there's a direct correlation between Malcolm X. She says between Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Bobby Kennedy, and Jack Kennedy. Exactly, because they were all assassinated by a political party that saw them going in the wrong direction. Malcolm X had decided that violence was not the way to go, that there was another way to do this thing, and he also was out there telling you about the Democrats. I'm going to play you a video clip of it, but let's listen to another video that I want you to see. This video right here just really blew my mind.
No, so where do we go? You get out of here. I know history.
He kept saying that he built this land.
Yeah, he didn't build anything. He didn't build it. I mean, right now, if you're going to build something, you get a job so you can put your taxes back into your city. That's called building something. Or start your own business. That's what this country's about. It's not about getting some kind of like minimum wage job that you hope pays for your life. It's about you getting out there and making your own way. But if you look at where is it harder to make your own way? Blue states. Where are they making it hard? I talked to a guy last week. He goes, well, the only reason why our jobs went up is because the regulations got cut. And I go, yeah, more people got money in their pocket. Right? And so he doesn't know what he's talking about. But what I hit him on is the fact that they're out here. They want me to say some guy's name who multiple times beat up his girlfriend. Yeah. Multiple times has sexual assault.
He's not my Martin Luther King.
Nope.
He's not my Martin Luther King.
That's what I'm supposed to sit there and get into fights with my fellow citizens for. I show him pictures of names of kids. Like we had like 8 to 9 of them just under the age of 20 teenagers in Chicago that died just in the month of July alone. 38, if no one knows, 38 children in Chicago alone through this defunding bullshit that Black Lives Matter has been pushing. 38 kids in the month of July.
What about those black lives? Let's talk about those black lives.
When have you seen a poster? When have you seen any of those faces on the cover of any magazines? But Oprah Winfrey is going to put someone on there who was working with her boyfriend in a drug trafficking trade down there. But we don't want to talk about that. No. You don't want to talk. That's who I'm supposed to stand up for.
Exactly.
Mega Hulk, you almost turned green over there. Now I want to know what were you giving? What were you telling those guys?
Well, I was trying to get them to understand. Like, just first answer the question, because we would give him a question for him to answer. You know, because Donald Trump is racist. Well, how's he racist? That's it.
He's been saying, I've seen him quoted saying some racist shit about black people.
Like what?
Like what, dude?
Nothing. You got nothing. You keep saying, oh, I heard him say this. I heard him say
he
that.
said, I've heard a quote. Do he not unrealize what he just said?
And then just repeat it and repeat it. So I'm like, look,
just
answer the
what
question.
somebody else
said. They can't
said.
answer the question because they have no facts on their side. They have no facts. They don't do any research. They don't do any type of higher learning when it comes to what they believe. All they know is what the media narrative tells them to believe, and that's all they parrot.
The organization is fake. I personally believe that the BLM movement is fake. It has nothing to do with advancing the lives of black people.
They actually say they want to break up the family home.
Exactly. Their main goal is to break up the patriarchal, nuclear family. They want the men removed out of the family, which is what Democrats want also.
Exactly.
If BLM really cared about black lives, why would it be solely isolated to incidents where a black life is taken at the hands of a white cop? That happens less than 1%.
Come on.
Now, wait. Now, I like to equate this to, it's the same as if I was in a horrific accident. I have a massive head wound. I have a leg fracture and a scratch on my finger. And here come the first responders, and they want to tend to the scratch on my finger. And I'm telling you, what about the wound on my head? What about my fractured leg?
Come on.
That's what the BLM movement is. They're tending to the scratch on my finger, and that's not even what it's about. If you want to help.
You know what? They're spot on. They're right on. They're dead on target. They nailed it. And a lot of comments in the chat room right now. I can't keep up with all of them. But I'm telling you what, one that triggered my thought was what Jan Maria had to say about Malcolm X. A lot of people think that Malcolm X, matter of fact, Malcolm X was a very complex person. Very complex. Very bright. Grew up in a very diverse environment. He got off track. I mean, just like a lot of young people. He followed this black movement, Black Lives Movement, this Malcolm movement, this Black Power movement. But let's see what Malcolm X really had to say to the black community that gets missed a lot. That gets missed a lot. Malcolm X, let me find that video clip, because what Jan Maria had to say was spot on about why some of these people were assassinated. And Malcolm X being one of those people during that time, we kind of forget about that there was a lot of turmoil during that time. There was a lot going on, not just with what was going on in the movement with socialism and communism and some of those movements. There was a lot going on also in the white community with what should they do with the free black people as they became more and more upwardly mobile. They just didn't know what to do with a lot of those people, and that became a flashpoint. It actually became a flashpoint in the elections, especially in 1968, because a lot of the black people were rioting, they were angry, and there was a whole lot going on underneath. And these politicians were trying to figure out how to get them into their pocket. And let's hear what Malcolm X had to say about that. And I really appreciate her bringing this to my attention.
White liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives. The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism, false promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leader.
Well, there you have it. And Jan Maria brought that to my attention, and I thought, well, that's a great opportunity to hear Malcolm X say it, that the white liberal, the progressives, have used the blacks, and they've used them for over half a century, over 50 years. The whole premise behind LBJ's civil rights legislation and his the Welfare Act was to remove the black male from the family unit. And they did it successfully. LBJ even said, look, I'll have those niggers voting Democrat. Let's see what he said.
Say, well, you can't have a poll tax. They can say you can't have a gas tax or a cigarette tax or anything else. The federal government's telling the states pretty tough what their business is. Now, you can say that they can't discriminate, but I've got to prove that it discriminates, and I can't prove it in Texas. There are more niggers voting there than there are white folks. There are more of them buying poll taxes than there are white folks. Higher percentage of them. And I can't show that the literacy test is discriminate against because they haven't got any. They got no test at all. Just by God, anybody that can get up and pay $1.06 can vote.
There you heard it from the man himself, Mr. LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, one of the Democrats' heroes, one of their champions, telling you in his own words, he didn't want niggers voting. He didn't know how to stop them, though. He had no way. They couldn't use the poll tax anymore. They couldn't use the literacy test anymore. So his biggest concern is that the black people would be able to vote, and he had to figure out a way to destroy that vote or gain that vote. So what did he do? He introduced legislation that he said would have the Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years. The Welfare Act. Remove the black male from the family. Jeff Trotter said there's a comment stated by LBJ, blacks, the Democratic Party used to vote for their votes. Exactly. I just played it. It's LBJ in his own voice. I've got more. It's evidence. Look, you don't need me to tell you. You don't have me to tell you that there's an assassination on the nation. There's an assassination attempt on this nation. And it's no longer about taking out just one person. That didn't work. They took out Kennedy. That didn't stop it. They took out his brother. That didn't stop it. They took out Malcolm. That didn't stop it. They took out Martin Luther King Jr. That didn't stop it. They've used the educational system to indoctrinate our children with this nonsense that somehow America is evil and white people are evil, and somehow you got to destroy a country in order to make it all right. Yeah, let's turn the country over to the people out here protesting. Let's turn it over to them. Let's turn it over to those who are shooting people, rioting, looting, burning, destroying communities. Let's turn the whole ship over to them and let them run it. It's not going to happen, folks. Of course, there's a lot of things that's happening that are completely out of our control. They are in God's hands. God is the one that's going to change what is going on in this country. We had better get on our knees for God, not for some athlete, not for some organizations that's being run by Marxists. You know, Black Lives Matter, their whole organization is wanting to change the nature of family. That's their motive. Go read it for yourself. You don't need it from me. If I had my way about it, this is what I would be doing to the country, to the ones that want to riot. I'd be doing this right here. Look.
What you mean? Don't you supposed to be at home? Get your bomb here. Dude, move. No. Now do it again. Do it again. What are you talking about?
There you go.
Get your ass up here.
Get him. See, we need more of that, folks. We need more of that. Since they removed corporal punishment from the school, the generation that grew up with no corporal punishment is the generation that's looting and burning and destroying and robbing and killing at will. And they justify it because of their anger. There is no justification for destroying people's property and their lives. There is none. I don't care who you are. There is no justification for it. Ruby Ruffin gave me the laugh. Carletta Smith III says a terrorist organization talking about Black Lives Matter. Exactly. So we got a lot of work to do. And November is going to come. Whether I'm here or whether you're here or whether we're not. Unless Jesus returns soon, November is coming. Who do you want running this country after November the 3rd? That's all you have to ask yourself. That's really it. Do you want Kamala Harris, who says she's going to take your firearms? Biden, who's going to put Beto in charge of taking your firearms? Do you want that person in there? Or do you want Donald J. Trump, someone who loves this country and is going to defend your rights to keep and bear arms and your right to express your religion and practice it? That's all you got to ask yourself. That's it. Of course, if you want to help out on the show, you want to help us, you can go to ImayBeWrongButIDon'tThinkSo.com. You can contribute, you can subscribe, you can comment, you can leave questions, you can do whatever you please. But do not attack me because I'm not going to tolerate it. It's not going to happen. Not on my watch. Of course, I want to thank everyone. Thank you for coming in. Keita Dukes Mosby said, we need more mamas like that, talking about the one giving the beating. Of course, the voter fraud will be unprecedented, says Don Hughes. You're right. You got to watch it. You better keep your eyes open. You better know what's happening in your community. I want to tell you, God bless you. God bless America. And God bless and protect our children. Peace.
You've been listening to Alfonso Ashworth, the Barry White of Podcast Radio. Go forth and share his message. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Remember, no two people can ever occupy the same place at the same time. You were uniquely and wonderfully made. Born an original. Don't die a copy. God bless. Peace.